Our next guest is all the way from Toronto, Canada. She is a relationship authority. She's the #1 Amazon best-selling author. She also does business in over 14 countries, and she's currently working with a princess. Please welcome Iris Ben-Ruby.
Hello, South Africa. I'm so excited to be here today. And yes, and we've had some amazing speakers so far who've shared with you their best strategies on how to be even more successful. And today, I'm going to take you in a very different direction. I want to deepen the conversation. Will you be an empty success or a fulfilled success? So what is success? How do we define it? We started talking about it yesterday. We could talk about financial success. After all, that's what you're all here for. We could talk about physical success, so the health of your bodies. We could talk about spiritual success, so how happy you are with your spirituality. The one thing that I've noticed in my 20 years as a therapist and professional coach, someone who focuses specifically on relationships is the one place we are falling down, is in our success in our relationships. And you might say, what does this have to do with business? I say this has everything to do with business because business is about people. How many of you have ever had a grumpy boss? Ever wonder what that boss's love life must be like? What about office morale and productivity? You see, the challenge we have is that we're growing up in a very different era than what our parents did. And you may have grown up with the belief that love is either in the cards or it's not, that it's fate, that it's destiny, that you have to be in the right place at the right time. Well, I'm here to talk to you about love by choice, not by chance. You see, I believe that love is your birthright. It's not just for the lucky and the special. It's not just for the handsome, the rich, and the famous. It's for everyone. That love and connection is as crucial as food and water, and I'll tell you why. Isolation is the most painful emotional experience. Now, here are a couple pictures from Joburg's own Constitution Hill, where they held Nelson Mandela in prison, where solitary confinement is the cruelest of punishments. And there are still societies to this day where for a wrongdoing, they will banish a member. And when that member gets banished, they literally die. And that's why I say that we cannot survive without love and connection. And that's why I want to say that if you don't get this, you are missing out on the most beautiful gift and experience in human existence. And it doesn't matter how many successes you have, it's all hollow and empty. And when you do get it, you have the experience of bliss. Just think back to a time when you felt deeply loved and connected. It could be a time with a grandparent. It could be with one of your children. Now, I've met many of you in the audience, and I know that some of you are married and you have a great relationship, and that's wonderful because you have the richness and fulfillment of life. Others of you are married, and you know something's not working. And so you're losing out on that richness and fulfillment. And others of you are single, and you too are missing out. Either way, it's a deficit. It's an emotional deficit. And let me explain why. Before we were born, we were attached to our mothers through an umbilical cord that gave us everything we needed to survive and thrive. Once we were born, that umbilical cord got cut. But we had an emotional umbilical cord to our mother to have everything we need to survive and thrive. Love, affection, safety, comfort, and warmth. And then we grow up into adults and our network expands to include friends, teachers, boyfriend, girlfriend, ultimately a spouse that makes us feel special, that makes us feel like a priority. Somebody who's going to protect our secrets and our insecurities. Somebody that you can reach out to when you're struggling. Somebody you can reach out to when your resources are low. It's just like when our cell phones are at 4%, we become maniacs looking for that plug to plug back in and recharge. And we'll even run over that little old lady that's in our way. And that's what we need as adults. We need someone to connect to and to recharge. In the times of celebration, but also when we're struggling. When that big contract you've been working on falls through, or that big deal you were counting on gets canceled. If you need someone in your corner that's going to say, I'm there for you, don't worry. We'll get through this together. So what I do is I talk to you about love by choice. We don't leave it to chance. And so we design your love life. And you might say to me, that's not very romantic. But I say, nonsense. If you don't know what you're looking for, if you don't know the kind of personality that will enhance your life, how will you recognize it when it's in front of you? How will you say, yes, that's what I want. That's what I've been looking for. That's what I want more of. And it's the same in your business. If you don't have a business plan and you don't have the skills, how will you succeed? You'll fail, you'll be broke, and you'll be desperate. And when you're desperate, you might even take on a client at the quarter of your value. And that's what we do in relationships. We feel lonely, we feel isolated, and we feel desperate for that connection. And we get into a relationship with someone who doesn't enhance our relationship in our life. The worst thing is to be in relationship and feel lonely. That is emptiness. So why don't you have the love you deserve? Ever ask yourself that? Is it something that's just for the lucky? Or is it you've told yourself that you don't deserve love? That only happens for the lucky people. You should just take what comes your way. Why is it that some people seem to have the secret to bliss and happiness in their relationships, while other people struggle and go from one relationship breakdown to the next relationship breakdown? Ever ask yourself that question? Is there something that they know that you don't know? The answer is yes, and I know what it is. Do you want me to share it with you? All right, it's called attachment. And what that means is that we need to get clear on the kind of person that we need in our lives that's going to enhance our lives. And when you know how to pick your partner, and you also have the skills to know how to ask your partner for what you need, you have bliss. And when you don't know how to pick your partner, and you don't know how to ask for what you need in a way that will have your partner step in and say, yes, I want to give it to you, you have stress, you have frustration, you have emptiness. And the good news, there's a way out. That's what I do. I work with professionals to devise a game plan, a literal recipe for success. And you know the great thing about a recipe? All you have to do is to follow the instructions. And the interesting thing is that it's worked in the past. It's working now with the clients that I'm working with, and it'll work in the future. And some of you might be saying, that's not how life works. Well, I'm here to tell you, yes, it does. Some of you might be thinking, it'll work for other people, but it won't work for me. I've got news for you. This works for everyone. The question is, are you ready for it? Do you want it? Are you willing to be a yes to you? Let's see a show of hands. Are you willing to be a yes to you? Yay! And so if you know that you have all of the successes in the world, and yet your heart is longing for that special someone to look deep into your soul, warts and all, and love you even more because of it, let's have a conversation. We'll start the conversation. I'll give you the recipe, and let's find this love together. Thank you.